Exotic Productions.
Yeah, African king to hip hop. Mizonic, shake it like it from the jungle. Hit it back like pronto. Show your rhythm of the bongos. Do it like you from Congo. Do it like you from LIB, Ghana or Niger. Shake it from Kenya, South Africa and Libya. African culture, African culture, African culture. We love African culture, African culture, African culture, African culture. We love African culture. They wanna steal a culture.
How's it going today, Brother Cliff?
Oh, it's going pretty good, my son. What we got?
You know, we got a lot going on. This is CIAA weekend in Charlotte.
Yes, it is. It's
like traffic everywhere, and
the weather is decent for them. I mean, normally half the CIAA is either rained out, snowing, or something, so that's pretty good for them anyway. So I trust that the weather is going well. But again, hopefully there won't be any violent skirmishes that have plagued the CIAA in past years. Hopefully our black people will be out there spending their hard-earned black dollars for an overwhelming majority of white-owned businesses. However, there are some black-owned businesses that maybe can reap a little bit more than they normally do. So hopefully it'll be a good thing.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm not participating, but we'll see what the fallout is after all of the numbers get crunched.
You could already feel the energy in the air, really, because everywhere you turn in Charlotte right now, the traffic is crazy. Anywhere you're going, it's so much traffic, so you can already tell that the city is becoming populated with with people.
Yeah, it's the CIAA vibe is here, and Charlotte is about to be painted chocolate black for the next 3 or 4 days.
And that's a great thing, as long as they keep the violence.
Again,
and all
we
that
don't
down.
want all of the other things that are associated with things like that with, quite frankly, our community. Because that's how that's what game that'll be charged to.
Okay, so let's get into some international news. You know, Cyril Ramaphosa, if I'm saying his name right,
I think that's how I would pronounce it. Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa.
He's the new president. The president before decided to step down.
He resigned.
Yeah, he resigned. He resigned because he was under a lot of scrutiny for corruption in his administration. So I guess it was just a lot of pressure, and he really wanted the country to go into a different direction. Now, this new guy, he's actually a wealthy businessman. He's definitely a multi-millionaire. Cyril Ramaphosa is, and but I know you heard the news, so I'll just let you relay that news to our viewing.
Well, the articles I read on it, and a couple other things following up on some international news, either on CNN or Fox. But apparently, Ramaphosa wants to, and in his words, seize farmland that, quite frankly, was taken from them generations ago by a lot of the white farmers,
Dutch,
British, but the colonialists. The colonialists. We know Africa as a continent, and countries within Africa, quite frankly, have been, for lack of a better word, raped for natural resources. And interestingly enough, the minority numbers of the white colonialists end up running the country. We could talk for days on that, but apparently Ramaphosa is basically saying enough is enough, and from what I read, he wants to seize all of that land without compensation, basically saying, I'm the new president, and I read some stuff about their government makeup and stuff, but apparently all people within their equivalent of Congress and Parliament are on board, and he's going to basically go in over the next several days or weeks and
figure out a plan,
basically nationalize that and take that land back, and without compensation. So we can only hope there won't be any violent bloodshed, if you will. I mean, from what I read and saw on TV and news reports, this guy is not playing. Right. He's not backing down. He's not being apologetic.
Right.
And this is probably the reasons why I love him so much.
let me just add to that, and I'll go real quick. But South Africa is unlike most African countries, and the reason is because they had more than one. They had several colonizers from different European countries. So they had the German that came in there at a certain time period. They had the Dutch, and the Dutch still has a huge presence in that country. And then they had the British. So you got like 3 or 4 groups of Europeans that settled in the land, but they didn't just settle. Of course, they went through the whole phase of apartheid and all that. Mm-hmm. So, South Africa has that. And whenever you have a situation like that where a country as big as South Africa has so many different groups of white people coming in, then that should automatically tell you they're there for resources. And the country is abundant in natural resources. We all know South Africa is one of the leading producers in diamond and gold, out of their country, but they have other resources as well. So just to go through a little bit of history for people who may not know, you have several groups of Europeans that settled there, and they didn't just settle there. They settled there. They met the natives of the land that basically took the land by force, just like how the land was taken here in the U.S. And
that's generally that is generally the formula.
And that exactly. And now the South Africans, blacks, who are the majority, they're just not having it. And with this new leadership and leader, we just, like you said, we just hope it's not going to be bloodshed, but it's going to be backlash, because it's already happening. Like, it's a lot of white folks in South Africa who's not happy with what he's been saying. They've been going on news media and they're criticizing the way he's going to go about things, because they're being spoiled with the country riches for generations. You talking about 1600 or even before that?
Yeah, the article talked about colonization and as of 1600, and I've seen things from Hidden Colors and other aspects of black history research that were dated before then. But the one thing that had me so excited about Ramaphosa is the mindset of the man.
Right.
This is very rare, and of course, I feel like I'm climbing up a Mount Everest island, a Mount Everest mountain with our kumbaya.
Right.
Coon Negroes of Black America and coons around the world. This man, Ramaphosa, may be viewed in a negative light, and unfortunately that negative light may be actually coming from
the white media.
Black media.
Black media?
Well, I would not be surprised.
Really?
When, I know at least in this country,
okay,
when black men such as myself, high dominant, conscientious, top of the food chain, don't take no stuff type of guys get to talking about things, ironically enough, you kind of know what to expect from the oppressive side of things.
Right.
Meaning, the white colonialist or the white supremacist promulgators and that kind of thing.
Right.
But what I'm seeing more and more and more, and we've seen it with situations over here in this country the last several years for sure, what we refer to as the coon in bed winch mentality. I'm just going to deal with more of the coon. The coon, your so-called black brother and your black sister,
right?
Well, they didn't really mean to rape our natural resources and adversely affect our livelihood. They were just trying to, in some sob story for them.
Right. Always trying to find an excuse for them, for their actions. Yeah.
Ramaphosa is doing what, quite frankly, a lot of black men lately won't do.
Right.
Stand up, take a stand with some serious action behind it.
That's true.
In the name of right.
That's true. And it's so weird to see a president do that, because they usually try to tap dance and try to please everybody. But for him to take a strong stance and
President Obama, I voted for President Obama twice.
We shouldn't even talk about that guy.
There is a lot to be said about President Obama, on the good side of the ledger, and the ledger that said, couldn't he have used his influence from the bully pulpit, being, yes, he was our first black president, but couldn't he have yielded more political clout for black Americans?
Exactly.
There is a strong contingent out there, and I'm kind of one of them, who he didn't do enough.
And
this Ramaphosa, just to hear him say, I'm going in, I'm doing this was wrong, they did us wrong, and I'm going to do what I need to do to get it done. That's almost unheard of over here.
But you know what, too, you got
from any black leader at any national level of so-called leadership. We don't have anymore.
I will give an excuse on behalf of President Obama. I will. Ramaphosa is in a country that's dominated, as far as population goes, by black people. Obama, on the other hand, didn't
make up 15% of the population.
They didn't have that situation here with black people in this country, like you said, making up only 15%. So that's a completely and then
there are a lot of different dynamics. I think,
and then most Caucasians are in high-powered positions in this country too. So that's another thing he was going against as well. So for that, I'll just give him a little bit of pass. But still, if you speak about what he did for the Jews or for the Native American, you could briefly talk about how much money.
Yeah, I remember
how much money he gave them.
I remember reading an article where he allocated, I believe, $5 billion to Native Americans to be paid out over
20 years.
20 years, I believe, and then, as quiet as they tried to have kept that, I read another article, I think from Newsweek or somewhere, I'm paraphrasing, but essentially he appointed, and I think President Joe Biden, who was Jewish, was a main influence, but $20 million to be paid out over so many years to the survivors of the Jewish Holocaust. And we've got Dr. Claude Anderson working on reparations for years.
How much did black people get?
Black people haven't gotten anything through reparations.
For how many years?
Oh my goodness, we've been here for what, since the early 1600s? So if you want to think about 300 to 400 years, we basically built the country on free slave labor.
Okay, so.
But these two major things, two non-black ethnic demographics, was done under President Obama, first black president. So when you look at things like that, you can't help but wonder.
He did some things for Hispanics too, but we're not even going to go into that. We're not going to go into that. The next thing we want to talk about was, let's talk briefly about the Black Panthers movie, the numbers, as far as what's happening with that, and what do you see with the future of that.
Well,
we only got 1 minute to talk about this, and then we could jump on the last topic. So go ahead.
Well, it looks like in the third weekend in a row, worldwide, they're going to easily eclipse $1 billion, I think.
Yes.
And again, like I said in the last video, without spoiling the movie, but again, most black Americans do not go to movies with a sense of what is this movie trying to tell us, what ideologies, what things are being portrayed. Most black people, from what I see, don't even do any research on the players behind the scenes and their mindsets. Marvel Comics being owned by Disney, we know Disney has always had a set of agendas that they want to accomplish, and so on and so forth. So even though this is a comic book character, there are a lot of things that are being played out throughout this movie involving black America, our demographic, and how we view things, quite frankly, through the lens of white supremacy. There are several things that we can't even get into now that are interwoven in this movie.
The movie is very deep when you start comparing situations to the relationship between African Americans or Black Americans to the continent of Africa itself. It's so many things in there. People even compared the hero or so-called hero to Chilla, and then Killmonger as the bad guy. They compared their characters to Malcolm X and Martin Luther and Dr. Martin Luther King. So you got so many things about that movie that's deep. People really have to watch it.
There's a lot of things in that movie that I saw that are indicative of the state of affairs between Black women and Black men.
Man, oh yes.
The movie is loaded with things.
Right.
That I could see at levels 8, 9, 10,
But
11, and 12.
what's the underlying message they were trying to shoot out, though? Because at the end, you always got to look at the end. So at the end, to me, they were just trying to shoot out a message that basically said that the way to go is to be peaceful and to be
appeased, to be able to be easily appeased.
Right.
And understand that if certain Black Americans with certain ideologies side with Africans,
right,
that's probably not what white supremacy and or the people who promulgate white supremacy and white daddy would not want.
Right.
That's just a few of the things that I picked up out of the movie, let alone I could write a book off the thing.
Right, let's go. So the last topic is Black business customer service. You had a scenario where you talked about Chick-fil-A restaurant. So can you just please elaborate on how important it is as a Black business owner to have serious customer service skills?
Your professionalism, your interpersonal skills go a long way as components toward customer service. Attitude, checking your attitude, your overall personality and characterization of oneself.
Right.
And
answering the phone, calling people back, as simple as that.
A lot of it is just steeped in good old-fashioned decorum and courtesy and proper ethics.
Right.
And Chick-fil-A came to mind because we all go to fast food restaurants, and yet I can't remember any time I have been in Chick-fil-A where I didn't see
Misonic.
Test the mic, 1, 2, 1, 2. This for all my ghetto authors out there. Nah, I mean, yeah, this from your boy, Misonic. Ghetto authors, think by the future. Ghetto authors, think by the future. Ghetto authors, think by the future. Help the youth to strive for better. 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 Ghetto authors, think by the future. An average rapper is an author and don't even know it. Lyrical poets, every day you show it. Forget about the money, teach the world. The youth, they're the children, boys and girls. Spit the street knowledge, they appreciate college. Give them your tools so they can flourish. Kids today lacking knowledge, malnourished. Okay, let me drop some game. Not everybody's gonna get a 4-year degree. What's your interest? Do a trade, you see. 6 months, 12 months, however long. MCs put a value on your song. Ain't nothing wrong with telling the truth. Do it my way, my style, like the news. If we all did this, results would improve. Yeah, results would improve. Ghetto authors, think by the future. Ghetto authors, think by the future. Ghetto authors, think by the future. Help the youth to strive for better. 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 Ghetto authors, think by the future. You know, this is for the slums and the dungeons of the world. Where some little kids never find peace. Drug dealer target is the priest. Why is that? Cause he's spoiling the feast. Cutting his clients short like a sport. All the fiends changing their lives. Churches packed on a Sunday. Pimped out suits in the pews. Even husbands hugging the wives. Shots ran busting like a orangutan. church ducking. Emergency plan. What would you do when situation hit the fan? Negative outcomes of society. Little kids stay away from drugs. Even thugs on the run need love. Trust me, ghetto kids need more than hugs. Yeah, they need more than hugs. Ghetto authors think by the future. Ghetto authors think by the future. Ghetto authors think by the future. Help the youth to strive for better. 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 Ghetto authors think by the future. Everybody really can't be a rapper the same way everybody can't be a baller. I'm so far away from a hater. Find your passion, find your hobby. Groupies, stay away from lobbies. Know this might sound so controversial. The dude you're chasing, you don't know what he got. He talks about money, speak of it a lot. You think you hit a lotto, you got a pot of gold. The grass is never greener on the other side. Never sell your heart, never sell your soul. Stay true, live a decent life, cause at the end of the night you can sleep right. And that goes for anything, try to play fair. What's in it for me to gain? Who cares? The man upstairs in the angel's chair. Ghetto authors think by the future. Ghetto authors think by the future. Ghetto authors think by the future. Help the youth to strive for better. 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 Ghetto authors think by the future. 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 Help the youth to strive for better. 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 Ghetto authors think by the future.